Hello, welcome back to the Forest Women Fancast. Nottingham Forest are champions. 3 weeks ago, they were crowned FA Women's National League North Premier Division title winners and will be playing in the newly named WSL 2 in the new season. Now, today we're going to review what was a historic day for our Rebel Girls with two very special guests and friends of the show. Firstly, we have freelance sports journalist and founder of Footie Fusion, Abbie Murphy. Abbie, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really, really good. Do you want to give us just a little brief understanding of what you actually do at Footie Fusion then?
Yes, so I am the founder, and Footy Fusion is a media outlet that is based purely to showcase those that aren't showcased within mainstream media for women's football. So we have a heavy focus on what is now known as the WSL2 and the FA Women's National League and the tiers below that. We've got a team of 30 people, including journalists, content creators, graphic designers, everything you can think of, basically. And yeah, we're just there to try and promote and push for the tiers of women's football that aren't covered.
Great stuff. I know you were at most of the Forest Women's games this season as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I was at every home game apart from two.
Our second guest today is digital creator and co-owner of Constancy Sport, Aimee Reynolds. Aimee, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, really, really good. Do you want to also give us a little brief intro into what your company do as well?
So basically, we're just a company, same as Abbie's Footy Fusion. We are giving a platform to women's sport that isn't showcased. So we mainly cover football, but we do multiple other sports as well. Creating content. We've got a big team again, around 40 people, and we've got content going out daily, just showcasing different things that happen in women's sport.
Excellent. And again, you were at most of the games this season as well, weren't you, Aimee?
Yeah, I was at them all -2 again.
Oh, amazing. I know you didn't make it to the final game, did you? Because unfortunately, you were at Wembley. Well, not unfortunately. Well, kind of unfortunately because we lost. But watching the men's semi-final. But that was a difficult decision, wasn't it? A little bit like me, a season ticket holder with the men as well.
Yeah, it was honestly one of the hardest decisions ever. I was hoping the game would be on Saturday for the men. So I could do both. That was my plan. Go to the men, go to the women. But sadly, I had to go for the men. My family had got tickets. It didn't come down to me in the end for the decision.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine now. I think, do you know what? A day out of Wembley, you can't beat it, can you? And Forest haven't been there very much, so that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more special occasions to come for the women as well that you can enjoy. So all good.
Definitely.
And of course, it wouldn't be the Fancast without my trusty sidekick and fellow Forest ultra, Ollie Betts-Richards. Ollie, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thanks. I'm looking forward to going over the season, really. It's been a really, really enjoyable 9-10 months now. And obviously we're coming up to the break, but it's been great to look back on some of the really special moments that we've had over the course of the season, an unbeaten league season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. It's been great, hasn't it? We said this on the last pod, but it's been so much fun. So we'll start with you then. What are your general thoughts as we sit here as title winners? Do you think we met expectations?
Yeah, I said at the start of the season, I very much think we could go unbeaten, and we did. Promotion was the expectation. We achieved that. And not to be sort of cocky about it, but I would have expected us to win the League Cup as well. There isn't a team at Tier 3 that's better than us, I don't think. So it's difficult to say that you can go over above expectations when the expectation was very much to win promotion. Yeah. And we did that without losing a game. I think we only dropped a couple of points less than Newcastle did last season, so it couldn't have really gone much better.
Yeah, I mean, some people were saying that it got a bit too nervy at the end there, that we could have made it a little bit more easy for ourselves. But I guess beggars can't be choosers, really, can they? At the end of the day, it was in our own hands, and that's all that mattered.
No, we went the whole season unbeaten, and it's not for us that Wolves run our back that entire time. I mean, they lost to us, so we can't control those other results. So it's only down to the other teams really stepping up, and it made it a much more competitive season than it was last season, where Newcastle were pretty much on it from the start of the season and we were comfortable distance going into the final stages.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Abbie, what did you think about the season in general, in particular us playing at the City Ground this season? Do you think that worked for us?
Yeah, definitely. I think the whole season practically was perfect. Like, you couldn't have asked for anything else. Yes, I think maybe we did look a bit nervy towards the end, but that was to be expected. Wolves were obviously at one point on our tail, and I think there was a bit of a nervy bit, but that was just, we overcame it. And I think the City ground did work in our advantage. I think overall the whole investment into the women's team has been absolutely brilliant, and without that, that's been such a pivotal thing to get us where we are now. I think we've got so much to thank for the amount of investment that's been put into it, and the City ground is one of them. The atmosphere that's there, the facilities, even the training ground, like this moved training ground, I think all of it has just come to play a massive part in this season.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think maybe the attendances could have been a little bit better, but as our first season at the City ground, I mean, I don't think we can argue too much that it went pretty well, didn't it? And some of those big. Sorry,
go on.
No, well, I was just thinking of games like Derby, for instance. We did really well with the attendance then. I thought the atmosphere was particularly good, and even though, let's face it, the whole club was at Wembley on the last game of the season, we still had a decent crowd then as well, didn't we? So I think we did.
Yeah, I don't think there was any point within the season that we really dropped below. I think the average was announced the other day of around 900 per game, which I don't think is too bad when you can think of, there's a few championship teams or WSL2 teams that I can think of that only average around 1,300 per game. So to say that we were tier 3, it was the first season at the City ground, I think that's a pretty solid attendance rate throughout the whole of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the potential's there, isn't it? To build on that for next season. Absolutely. So, Aimee, what do you think the benefits were then of turning professional this year? I guess the main one was like the caliber of players that we could buy, wasn't it, really?
So I think having these players join us at the start of the season, it's been amazing. Like, we've had players who's got experience in these top leagues, like Kate Longhurst, for example. Having her join us, that was a shock. You wouldn't expect that to join a tier 3 side. But we saw the season before, Newcastle, they went fully professional, they got promotion. And I'm thinking it could end up being the same for Burnley next season. They have turned professional, and I think they might get promotion. But no, the facilities we've been given turned into a professional side. Honestly, it's been the game changer. We've had training facilities, we've had like full-time players, full-time staff. I think if we didn't have them, it would have definitely not as gone as well as it did this season.
Yeah, no, completely agree. It felt like a new era, didn't it, this season?
Yeah,
a whole
100%.
clean slate. Really exciting. As I've said, I mean, we've said many times on this pod that we didn't really want the season to end because it was, although it was slightly nervy at the end, it was just so exciting and so much to be positive about. But on the flip side, Ollie, is there anything that you would have changed? Do you think there's anything we particularly didn't do very well this season?
The one thing that stood out for me as particularly disappointing came after the season, after the season finished. We said goodbye to a bunch of players, not even a week after the season finished. And it was a really low effort post, like, thanks, goodbye.
Yeah.
And that was really disappointing. And losing Sophie for a month mid-season as well, that coincided with a bit of a dip, not a dip in form because we kept on winning, but the difference in the performances was showing. On the pitch, I don't want to call Newcastle United a low point because we gave them a really good game. We came away from that 1-0 with I think, was it a fairly late goal that Newcastle scored? I can't remember how late it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Yasmin McQuaid, wasn't it? Screamer.
Yeah,
sort of quite late on in the game, wasn't it? Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that was a particularly low point on the pitch. It's easy to think of like games like Hull, but I remember watching Newcastle play West Brom last season, and West Brom gave Newcastle a really good game. It got to about 80 minutes, and the point that Aimee made about being professional, that's where it pays off because you can find that extra 10% when you've got the luxury of having so much contact time and coaching. Newcastle scraped the draw in that game in the same way as we could have tossed away 2 points against Hull. Those games happen. So the biggest disappointment for me was the players that we lost. Some of the players we lost, and then the manner in which they were shown the door.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point. I was going to come on to this more towards the end, but I think that's a really good juncture to sort of jump into this about the players, because obviously, it's fairly fresh. The announcement was about a week and a half ago, I think, when we heard about the 12 players that are not having their contracts renewed. Obviously, we did a little bit of a reaction video quite soon after the news, but it'd be quite nice to kind of go into a little bit more depth of everyone's feelings in regards to the players. Now, let's just start with the big one, guys. Kate Longhurst. For me, I'll be honest, I am absolutely gutted that she's not going to be with us next season. Yes, she's 36 years old, but we do still have the likes of Rachel Williams, 37 years old, playing in the WSL. Now, it's come to light that we didn't give her a new contract because of her age and because her minutes would have to be managed because of her, obviously, physicality and that kind of thing. My question really is, and I was thinking about this the other day, I don't remember a game where she came off against Long Itchington and she was injured. But other than that, I don't remember a time where she was out through injury. Now, I could be wrong here, or she particularly looked, leggy, or that, she was past it, let's say, because that's what we're talking about here. People are saying that she's past it and she can't do a job in the championship. Maybe she can't start every game, but I think personally she could still do a really good job in the championship. What are your thoughts on that, Abbie?
I definitely agree. I think that was a player that, to put it bluntly, we fumbled. Kate has been a game changer at many points throughout our season. And as you say, yes, she's on the older age of the player age scale, but there are players that are older than her that are still going. And I think she would be a crucial part of our team had we have extended her contract to the championship for next year, because she is a game changer. Even if she came on as just a super sub, as people call it, she could be the difference between winning and losing a game, because she's so composed on that back line. And as you say, she's not been injured, she's not been leggy. I can't think of a single game throughout the whole season where I've thought, okay, maybe we need to rotate Kate out. She's always been somebody for me that you can rely on. She's cool, calm, collected at the back. Like, she's everything you'd expect. So to hear that they've not offered her the contract because she is approaching, she's not old, but she's at the end of the scale. It was quite disappointing to hear, because, like I say, she's a game changer. She was crucial to our season, and that's all that can really be said. Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Aimee?
Not a single time I thought, she's not putting on the same performance as anyone else. She's in every single game, she's given her all. She's a player on the pitch who's got the experience. Like Abbie said, she's at the older end of it, at the end of the scale. But she's got the experience. She knows what is needed to be able to get these big wins. And I think it is a shame we're losing her now. Like, I think I would have given her a contract. Next season, she might have not been able to play every game, but like coming on as a super sub, we've got a chance, we can rotate players around. And I think that'll be a crucial thing next season, because it's much more intense, the championship. The WSL 2 is now. So yeah, I definitely think it's a big loss for us.
Yeah, I totally agree. Do you know what? I'm going to find it really difficult calling it WSL 2, actually. I think a lot of people will, won't they? WSL 2. Obviously, they did used to call it WSL 2, so I was actually just switching it back to what it originally was called, but it's going to take a while to kind of get used to that. Ollie, your thoughts on Kate?
I'm gutted. And I'm surprised as well, very shocked. It's not like Kate didn't play very much last season. She appeared in all but one of the games in the league and started most of them. She started 18 times in the league. It's not like she was in and out of the team because she couldn't string a few matches together. She was there every week. And when you've got some of the younger players that we've got, and also players that aren't as experienced at a high level like she is. So, Lino's not played in the WSL for a long time. And, neither has Molly or Cara or Nat or Emily. So that as a back line, having someone of that experience and stature around them, I can't see how that doesn't improve their game. Although we are going to be in a more intense league in the Championship, it's not like we're not going to be going at another 100 miles an hour. We don't need to have players that can get around box to box for 90 minutes. There's no reason why she can't play a part, but obviously her and the club disagreed on how much.
Yeah. No, it's a good point, because I thought she had a fantastic game against Newcastle from the footage that I saw. Obviously, I wasn't there. You were there, weren't you, Ollie?
No, I watched it on.
Oh,
I
were
watched
you
it
not?
online.
Oh, sorry.
It was a ghastly experience watching it online.
Yeah, no, I remember. And the very how should I put it, biased Newcastle commentary as well was quite interesting. To sum it up, I think she definitely could have done a job in the Championship, and it's a real shame. And it sounds like she wanted to stay. We didn't want her to stay, and it's ended not particularly well. And that's really upsetting, because I think a player like Kate, she'd obviously said previously on another podcast she was gonna end her career at Forest. So whether it was going to be this season she retired or probably next season, it would have been nice if we'd had a fitting kind of celebration of her, which she's just been given a thank you as part of the other 12, and then she's gone off. And I don't know, it sort of leaves a bit of a bitter taste for me, considering the contribution that she gave last season. Played pretty much every game. Yeah, it's really, really sad. But we move on. I'm not going to go through every single person in, chapter and verse, but a few sort of standout people that we really want to talk about. What I'm really keen on talking about is Jess Hennessy. I find her departure quite strange, because I thought she was one that we bought for the future. She was a future project, and we'd put a lot into her. Obviously, she came over from Northern Ireland for her first sort of professional contract. What did you think about this one, Abbie?
I think I saw it coming, because she was never, I never got the feeling that she was one that was going to become a regular starter. I think within the first few weeks there was hope that she was one that we could build up and really embed into the team. But as the weeks went on, her minutes were very, very limited. And she was always travelling to and from Northern Ireland. And I just got the feeling that it wasn't gonna become anything, which is really sad, because she is so talented.
Yeah.
And I do think that she would have been a crucial asset to the back line, especially with losing Kate. Like, she could slot in quite nicely. But I think I did see this one coming.
Yeah. What about you, Aimee? Similar thoughts?
Yeah, she was definitely, out of the list that we saw go, she was one I did expect. Like, we didn't see much of her, which is a shame, because the bits we did see, she was amazing. So she wasn't as shocking for me, but it is strange. We signed her, she came, she didn't really do much, we didn't see her as well as we could have, and then now she's one of the ones who haven't been given another contract.
Yeah, I think she falls, Ollie, into that category, along with a couple of the players that we signed in January, of the kind of, why did we sign them? Like Megan Bell, Sophie Hayward, who I don't think, did she start once in the whole time she was here?
I think she did start once.
Yeah, it kind of leaves you sort of scratching your head as to why did we bother, really? I know Jess came on, didn't she, against Long Itchington? I know she's made some sort of cameos at ends of games and stuff. She had a bit more game time. And I was very impressed with what I saw. But what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not shocked, because, again, like I think Abbie said, when you look at the minutes that they play, if they're not playing those minutes in tier 3, it's not really surprising to see them not get a chance in tier 2. That's not to say they didn't deserve it, and not to say that they're not good enough, but it's just not a surprise. She played a couple of 100 minutes for us over about 7 or 8 games. It's not, and I don't think she's been injured that much.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to even tell if she was on the bench, because we, like for the cup final, she was on the bench, but we had loads of players that couldn't make the bench, like Holly Turner and Sophie Hill, because they haven't played that many games for us. So it is a shame. It's hard to say when you don't see someone play that much. It's hard to say you're going to miss them. It is sad to see that they're not getting that much of a chance over the course of a season.
Yeah.
you want to see younger players come through. That's exactly what we want. You mentioned Rachel Williams earlier. That's been a rumor, but that's not really the sort of players. That sort of age profile is not to be derogatory about it. That's not the sort of age profile I think we should be looking at in the main. So having younger players can only be a benefit to us.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, obviously, we'll come on to that a little bit later, but I definitely see your point there. One quick one I wanted to just touch on. She was our first signing of the summer and seemed a little bit cheeky, pinching Derby's captain. I personally was a bit sad to see she hardly got any game time. I think when she did come on, her work rate was fantastic, and she's a very, very skillful player. Had a couple of chances of scoring some great goals, but it never quite went her way. And that's Aimee Sims. Obviously, she's departed as well. Be quite interested to see whether she goes back to Derby or not. Thoughts on that one, Aimee?
I never really saw that much of it, I'll be honest. I expected to see more. It was released quite, because she was our first signing. There was a bit like quite a lot out about her coming in. I thought it's going to be like a big signing for us. Can be like a big part of the season. But don't get me wrong, the bits we did see once again, good. But she never was one who stood out properly for me. But that's more because I never really saw her play.
What about you, Abbie?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I did see it. She did obviously have more minutes than other players. And when she was on the pitch, you could notice that she was on the pitch. Like, she was another game changer. So I am surprised that we've let her go. Especially because, like you said, I do think there is every possibility that she could go back to Derby. With it being so local, I do think that is a very big possibility. So to take her for one season, it feels a little bit strange as to why, again, she's not become one of the core group, as though to say.
Yeah.
I feel like she may have been a little bit pushed to the side, which is not nice to say because she's so skillful. But she was just I never felt like she was appreciated as though she should have been, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes real sense, actually. Because she always come across as quite one of the quieter ones in the group as well. Like, she wouldn't sort of assert her authority on, like, I want to start. She wouldn't be banging down the, Carly's door to start. But when she did come on the pitch, I think her football did the talking. So, yeah, quite disappointed about that one. What about you, Ollie? I know you were a fan of Simsy, weren't you? So I'm talking like she's dead. She's not dead. I'm using the past tense. Well, as far as I know, she's still alive.
I'm a fan of Simone. And I'm again, it's like Jess, I'm not really surprised that she's not here anymore with us. Because I would be happy if she was. Every time she came on the pitch, she made a difference. And I just think of that. The only time the only time where it didn't really come off for us was that when she was late on against hashtag, wasn't it? You were there. Yeah. And she was 1-on-1 with their keeper, and she really deserved that goal. When she came on against Liverpool Feds away, she was fantastic. And also she took a chance on herself. She went from part-time to being mostly full-time. I think she worked a day a week. Right. So I think she's still working. So she took a chance on herself to do that, and she's won something, and that's really respectable. Would have expected her to play a lot of minutes in the WSL too? No. Does that mean I wouldn't have wanted her around? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I would have wanted Cindy to stay, but we're in that really strange position in women's football, isn't it? Where there's so many more things to balance. And having said that, although we didn't guarantee promotion at the start of the season, that's what we wanted. So I would have thought we'd have been building a squad around a squad of players that probably would have been there for 1-2 years. And I thought Simmer probably would have been one of those, but clearly not.
I remember that chance against hashtag. I was desperate for her to score. Absolutely gutted for her. I really, really wanted to get on the score sheet. And I think she really, really deserved it for absolute workhorse when she used to come on. I mean, she's fantastic. One of the other ones that I was very shocked about, considering that she spent so much time at Blackburn in the Championship. She'd come through Manchester United's academy, and she's played in Serie A as well. So Medi Chandarana, why did she get released? What do we think, Aimee?
I was honestly so shocked. She was up with Sophie Domingo. She was one of the ones I was most shocked about. She was crucial to our team. Most performances, she was in there. She was setting up goals a lot. She was a big asset to our team. She's got the experience as well. She knows what she's doing, and yeah, seeing her go was a big shock. And it's one of the ones again, putting her in like just a thank you in that category of the post of all the players. I think she definitely deserved a bigger send off than what she was given.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. What do you reckon on this one then, Abbie?
Again, I agree. Millie was one of my core 11, as I'd say, like the starting 11. She'd always be in there for me. Especially with her experience. Again, I don't understand why we've released her, because we are going into it is going to be a tougher league. And I think we have the issue that we're now going to face is that are we going to be able to recreate the team vibe that we've had this season? And I think Millie would have been crucial in trying to keep us feeling together going into a tougher league. And now that we've released her along with Sophie, I think we could struggle next season because, like I say, to me, she was a core 11. She was in there starting every game. She was setting up the chances. She was just everything that we needed. And releasing her now makes me worry that unless we have an incredibly good summer transfer window, are we going to survive WSL2?
Yeah. Do you know, that's a really good point. And that's the one point that's worried me the most, I think, since seeing all these players that have been released. And also the video that they released yesterday, as we're recording this, with Holly Olding and Cara Hamilton talking obviously about mental health issues, but very much about how the vibe and the collective and the friendships that they've kind of forged together over the season have really, really helped each other. That they, you know, they're friends outside of the pitch and on the pitch. And it just kind of reinforced to me as well, like, oh, we're breaking that up. You know, what are we doing here? You know, teams that thrive and do really well are close knit and they get on and they just have that harmony. And we're literally, I said it in the other one, I don't want to be too dramatic, but we're sort of obliterating it a little bit. And that really does concern me. Does it concern you, Ollie?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've gone down to 11 players now. So we've lost 14 if you count the players that are clearly not staying after they came out on loan. And a football team is no different from any other team in any other organisation, any other walk of life. If you just transplant 11 new players in or 12 new people into that group, it is going to take time to gel. It clicked very well last season, and there's a chance it could now. But, you know, how many of us have been in either group settings or whether it's work settings or whatever, where you just have a couple new people arrive and it's like the dynamic changes and it takes time to sort of to normalize that again. And what I hope it doesn't take us halfway through the season where we're already struggling.
Yeah. No.
And that's because that's the time when you need it. And if we don't have that same harmony and we're struggling, it's only going to make it more difficult to get out of it.
No, exactly. That is the worry. And also the fact that I know Amber and Carly made a real point that when they came to recruit for this season, it was as much about the character of the people. They want to recruit the right people. You know, there was a real emphasis on that, wasn't there? So is that going to be the case again next season? Are they really confident that they can recreate that? I mean, we were saying, Carly, we trust and we will and we do, but there are slight concerns over, you know, recreating that for a second time at a higher level as well. Let's not forget, you know, we're going to be in the WSL too. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Right. So one of the other ones that I was particularly shocked about was Sophie Domingo. Now, she, for me, has been an absolute standout for and consistent player, one of our most consistent players over the last 3 seasons since she moved from Derby. What do you think about this one then, Ollie? Why would we let Sophie Domingo go? Because again, another person that I think could have done a really good job in the Championship. I think she is that level. So what are your thoughts?
The only reason I can think of is that it's the commitment of Tier 2 football. That's the only reason I can think of. I can't see any other sporting reason why we wouldn't keep her. She's young. She's got progressively better every year she's been with us. I don't think she could have done any more to earn a place in the championship in WSL2. Sorry,
Yeah, so you've done
I
it
don't
already.
think she could have done any more. So the only reason I can think of is non-sporting.
Yeah,
because it would be utterly bizarre to let go of someone of that age and of that ability, and someone that could thrive at a higher level with the commitment that we're giving to players.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gutted. I'm gutted for her and gutted for the team. I can't get my head around that one, other than non-sporting.
Thoughts on Sophie, Abbie?
You basically summed up what I had written down. For me, she's been consistent. She's been reliable. She's, again, everything we need. She is another one that's in my core 11. And I don't see why we've let her go. I think, like you said, we have to trust Carly. But part of me is doubting the decisions that have been made. Yeah. Because to me, I don't see a reason why we should have let her go. Because she's had no playing faults. She's consistent. She's reliable. She's always there. She's always on the ball. Why are we letting her go? We could develop her into somebody that is so vital to the team and what is going to be a difficult league. So to me, it's another one of it makes me question what the vision is for the next season.
What do you think the vision is? Considering that, because someone like Sophie, for me, she's still quite young. So you'd imagine she would be someone that we could sort of nurture, because Carly has a lot of emphasis on nurturing players and developing players. And Sophie's someone that you see the potential. So what is the vision? Is it sort of more experienced in the champ? Sorry, I said it again, the WSL2?
I think that's the only thing it can be. It's hard to get an idea of what is going through Carly and Amber's mind at the minute, because we are making. I didn't expect it to come. Like, I was on the way down to London and I got the message through, and I just remember being shocked that we were letting her go. But at the minute, I don't think there is a clear vision. I'll be completely honest, because if it's experience we're looking for, why have we let Kate go?
Yeah.
So it's swings and roundabouts, and I don't think we will get a clear vision until the first few signings are made.
Yeah. Would you agree? Any further thoughts? Would you agree on that, Aimee?
Yeah, it was a shock for me as well. She's done everything this season. She's scored. She's one of the reasons we have got promotion. So yeah, it was a big shock for me. And I think the plan, they must have some good signings lined up. If we've got rid of so many players, there must be something good coming out of it, because I have all my trust and faith into Amber and Carly. I do personally think we need a stronger squad for next season. But the way they've gone about getting rid of key players, or like Sophie Domingo going, like, don't know if it's down to football or commitment.
Yeah.
It is definitely a shock.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was that incident that we don't quite know what happened earlier in the season. Don't know whether that had any contributing factor to it. We don't know. That's a non-football related issue, but yeah, massive one that we really will miss Sophie Domingo. And obviously she was a massive fan's favourite as well, including obviously Ollie's daughter Ivy as well. So yeah, really sad to see her go. Another one that I thought had a brilliant end to the season. She scored, I think it was 3 and 4 games at the end of the season, and that was Holly Manders. Obviously didn't get a lot of game time at the start of the season. Looked a little bit like, is she going to go? Is she in Carly's favour kind of thing? But had a fantastic end to the season, as you say. Yeah, really shocked by her. Again, another player which I think could have been nurtured into a decent WSL2 player. I know you're a big fan of Holly. They're the Holly Ollie combo. What were your thoughts on Manders going?
I was shocked. I mean, when I wrote this down, I wrote 4 players down that I was really considerably shocked by: Kate, Millie, Sophie, and Holly. And again, we look like a different team with Holly in the team. I think what she tries to do, the way she tries to play football, is very sort of out of step with modern football. Really, she does try and make things happen individually, and it comes off. For like the pass she made to Sophie in the League Cup final, and Cara did brilliantly to pick up that ball, and then it was like inch perfect, that pass to Sophie Domingo, and then there's the goal she scored, the one just against Starbridge and the one against Hull. I think it was Hull. They're both really excellent strikes from distance, and that's another thing she can do. We've got we had 20. If you think we've got 25 players next season, 25 squad spaces next season, and that we've now got 11 players, so I can't see a reason why Holly couldn't have been in that 25, even if she wasn't going to be a regular starter. She's played at that level before, not very much, but most of our squad hasn't, to be fair. So probably waffling a bit now. It's just disappointing, and I definitely could have seen a place for her. She was excellent last season as well. She was like one of our top goal scorers when we finished third, and I think if she'd had a full season, she would have achieved similar.
Well, as parting gestures go, I thought that bullet header against West Brom in that final game, that beautiful delivery from Lino, and then the Robin Hood celebration was a fitting kind of end for her. It's a shame because you kind of felt like she was enjoying being at Forest, and she just got a little bit of form, and frustrating, very frustrating. But as we say, in Carly we trust. We hope they have they will have a plan in place. And as you say, Abbie, it will become clear as the signings start to roll in. So, swinging it round to a more positive note, just want to talk a little bit about everyone's standout game this season. Mine, I think, would probably be the Burnley away game. Coming into that game, it really felt like if we could pick up 3 points, pretty much it was plain sailing from that moment on. And it looked like we dominated the ball, played some wonderful football. The first goal was absolutely gorgeous. Holly Olding pinging it over to Charlie Wellings on the right-hand side, playing a lovely little first-time ball into Sophie Domingo. And it really felt like we'd found our rhythm at that point. So it was sort of a pivotal game for me. I mean, there were so many great games, wasn't there? It's really, really hard to pick one. But what would you say was your favourite game, Aimee, from the season?
This is a tough one for me, but Burnley away, massive one. It was, once we'd won that game, we knew the league was going to be ours, if everything else went to plan. But I actually went for Rugby Brother at home, a late night Thursday evening. It was a tough game. Rugby was a big competition of ours throughout, and that late winner from Mel, as a Forest fan, the feelings I felt like it was just joy. And that's what you want. Like, you want the team to feel like it's good scoring 6 or 7 every week. But I love the fact like we had to properly fight. We had so many chances throughout. And yeah, that was a big game for me. I loved that game.
Oh, massive shout. Do you know what? That's on my list as well. When that goal went in, the roar, I can't remember, I've said this before, but I cannot remember celebrating a women's team goal like that. It was just, pure joy and relief. It was great atmosphere, wasn't it, that night as well? It was just crackling. Yeah. It was just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. What would yours be then, Abbie?
I went for a bit of a cliche one, and I said the FA Women National League Cup final against Stoke at the Best Scott. And I just think everything about that game was what football should be. There was a moment where we went, I think, 2-1. Charlie scored the brace in the first half, then Mel pulled through with the final one. But I think there was a point in which we looked nervy, which obviously then got some of the fans riled up. The atmosphere got going. And then when Mel scored the final one and the cup was ours, it was just an atmosphere that was unreplicable. Like, as much as there was an atmosphere when we won the league and we got promotion, I don't think it compares to the atmosphere that was at the Best Scott. And for me, that was just a really pivotal moment in the season where I think the players finally realised that they could do it. Like, they started taking more risks from that point on. And it was just a bit of not a turnaround, but it was a bit of an eye-opener to them that they can do it and they could have got promotion, in which we did.
Yeah. I think it was a great shout, by the way. I think what I actually quite liked, or didn't at the time, because it was massively squeaky bum time, But when Tamara Wilcock came on and scored, and it sort of made things a little bit difficult as well. It's kind of like a little bit nervy, and it just set up that great ending with that wonderful goal by Mel. And I know what you mean about the celebrations. It just really felt different, didn't it? Comparing the final day, it was as if they were finally allowed to just celebrate for the first time, and it was just a sense of relief as well. It was lovely.
Definitely. I don't know if it's because the Bescott is a bit more of an intimate stadium, and obviously they had the streamers and stuff, but it was just a completely different atmosphere to what it is at the City Ground. And being in the press box, it was actually situated right next to the Stokes fans. So I had the Stoke fans on my right and the Forest fans on the left. So it was really nice actually to see how the fans reacted to each other. And at one point it got so loud that I couldn't even think about what to write. But that's what women's football needs. Like that atmosphere, the rivalry, that it just needs it going forward. Because at the end of the day, football's football, and that atmosphere is what can make or break a game. So I just think that was the perfect game.
No, that's really interesting to hear that. What about you then, Ollie?
Derby away.
Yes.
Derby away was my favourite. I mean, like Aimee said, there's loads of games where we scored hatfuls, and to me they're quite boring. And it's very difficult to get excited when you just put 6 past like Halifax or whatever. Not derogatory to them, but it's just not entertaining to watch. I mean, we were 1-0 down for most of that game. I think their penalty was like just before half time, and it was an 80th something minute that Charlie scored a first, and then the penalty was like one of the last kicks of the game. And the emotion in that game was exactly what Abbie was just describing at the Bescott. It was just like, and also at the rugby game at home, just like joy and elation, and the relief of coming from a losing position to get 3 points against our rivals. And we wouldn't have done that last season. I've banged on about that enough. The season, we wouldn't have done that. Having the professionalism that Aimee talked about earlier, that's what gets us over the line in difficult games, and clutch players like Charlie Wellings. And also what was interesting to me, that was 2 games after we played Cheadle in I can't remember if it was the League or FA Cup now. It was one of the cup competitions. And that's when Cora Hamilton went down. And we sort of raw dogged it the next game. And then against Derby, we moved to a 3 at the back. And we played 3 at the back for a few games. And Lino went to fullback. And it showed a versatility that Cardi has that we've not seen until then. She likes her 4-2-3-1. And she showed that she could mix it up a little bit to get us out of that hole when Cara had just established herself as a really top player for us in a few games, and then we lose her. And Cara did really well to manage that game. Yeah,
she took a few risks, didn't she? She put her neck on the line in that one, and ultimately it paid off. It's really tasty, that game, wasn't it? As you say, it was a lot of banter between fans. There was that guy walking around with a drum that was sort of winding people up.
I loved it.
I love all that. I absolutely want more of that. I'd love that. I mean, obviously we're not playing Derby anymore, and we probably, who knows if we'll ever play them again, but I will miss the Derby days because they are something special, aren't they?
It was the best match day experience I had last season.
Yeah, I agree completely. Stourbridge away was a nice away day as well, I think. Right then, standout players we want to talk about now. I'm going to come to you, Aimee, first. Who was your standout player of the season, do you think?
I think everyone will agree with this, but Charlie Wellings. I don't even have enough words to describe how incredible she is. The goals, everything. She assists, she scores. I can't even describe how good she is. Like, we have been so lucky to have a player like that this season. And I will give her all the praise in the world.
Yeah, completely agree with that. She'd definitely be top of my list. Who would be top of your list then, Abbie?
I'd actually put Charlie and Mel tied for similar reasons, but they were reliable. They got the goals that we needed, but they're not big personalities, but they brought a vibe to the team that when they were on the pitch, the whole team came alive. Like, And obviously Mel got 21 goals in 22 games, like tied top goal scorer. It's insane. But she obviously had that little fault before Christmas where maybe she wasn't as on form as she has been throughout. But then we brought in Sophie and she just skyrocketed. Like, her form was impeccable. And I think she's very good at reading the game and finding where she needs to slot in. So if there's an empty gap, she's very good at standing back, observing, watching the gameplay, and then moving in at the right time. And I think that is very crucial for what we need. So speaking on it now, I'd probably put Mel as my standout player.
It's interesting you mentioned about the little blip that she had. I think Carly obviously brought in Sophie and Holly Turner, sort of insurance, I guess, for that sort of period where she was having a bit of a goal drought. But I think it was the mark of her character that she literally went, nah, I'm not having this. And she literally the next game she went out, and I think she might have even scored a brace. And good on her for that, because, you know, some players could have found that really intimidating. And I think that's kind of a mark of her character. And she just makes the game look really easy, doesn't she? Like, some of the goals she scores, it's just effortless. So, yeah.
And she's very humble about it too. Like, me and Aimee spoke to her. I can't remember what game it was, but it was towards the start of the season. And I don't think she realises how good she actually is. Yeah. She was very quiet, very reserved. And I think that's quite a nice attribute to have, because sometimes when players, not cocky, but they know that they're good, it can become a bit over demanding in the team. Like, it becomes quite a big presence. So I think the fact that she is so humble works well within the team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, Carly had worked with her before, so she knew the kind of character that she was bringing in and that she would kind of mould into that vibe, which is great. What about you then, Ollie? Who was your player of the season?
I'll ask you a question. Of all the players, who do you think played more minutes than anyone else?
Oh, Kate Longhurst?
No, Lino.
Oh God, of course.
And that's of all the players I've got, Lino had spent more time on the pitch than anyone else, and that's not why I choose her.
Wow.
I'll choose Lino because she's obviously, we know she's played at a high level before, but that was like 10 years ago, when she was much younger. And for me, what impressed me about Lino is she's stepped up to a level of players that have got much more higher recent experience than she has, and she's managed that transition really well. She's part-time and she's not dropped her levels at all, and in fact she's raised them. Especially that one standout game she played, I saw her play, was Liverpool Feds away, and now she bombed down the right, and she combined with Sophie Domingo excellently, and they got a couple of goals, set up a couple of goals between them. And I can't speak highly enough of Lino. And not just our captain, she is our leader, and she's led by example all the way through the season. Yeah. And if anyone deserves to lift the league and cup double, well, again, in her case, it's her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't know that I'm a fan at all, would you? Really, I don't know. There's no evidence, kind of. Yeah. That's what when I was doing the interview with her, I said, "Do you mind having a picture of your face right in front of you?" So, it's fine. She's chill, you know. She's so chill. She doesn't mind. But she's really nice to talk to. Okay, so
who's yours?
Who's mine? Well, I had obviously I had Charlie Wellings, but I would like to give a little shout out to Cara Hamilton. Sorry, real shame when she got that injury. But she's another one that I think has real potential. I know I've said this so many times, but she has a real sort of Lucy Bronze about her. The way she sort of bombs down that right hand side, the physicality, the kind of the grit, and the skill, you know. And I think she's a real leader as well. She's kind of a quiet leader, if you like. But yeah, I think she'd be like my outside shout, other than obviously Charlie. And I think, you know, Mel had an absolutely wonderful season. So, you know, there's so many, you know, you could put on that list. Sophie as well had a wonderful season. But I think in terms of someone that really impressed me from the get-go was definitely Cara. There was I can't remember which game. I think it might have been Rugby at Home, actually, that the game that we mentioned, Amy's favourite game. Standout game where I think she had an absolutely fantastic game. She just a defensive masterclass from her. She just controlled controlled it completely at the back. And I can't wait to see what she can do in the WSL2 as well. Obviously, she's come from that level too. So yeah, she would get my shout. Okay, let's just crack on then with your personal high point of the season. And then now this can be a game, it can be anything, completely random. Mine would be probably Carly taking one for the team in that rugby game when she got a yellow. It was just, I said this in the article that I recently wrote for Miss Rolling In fanzine, that I think in that game, we won that game as much for her sort of leadership in battle as, the 11 players on the pitch. It was just like a complete unison, and she was just, everyone was pumped up that night, and no more than Carly. And I just think, it was just a nice little moment. And I like seeing sort of silly little things like that happen. I mean, to be honest, there was quite a lot of other things I could have gone for. But let's just take it over to you guys. Abbie, what was your highlight of the season, or high point?
I don't think there's a particular one. I just think the whole season for me has been, on a personal level as well as a team level, has been an outstanding thing. For me personally, it was my first season, not working with, but working alongside a club pretty much 24/7, being in the press box, whatever. But I think just seeing the team grow and growing confidence as the season's gone on, it has just been so rewarding. And then obviously them getting promotion. To me, the team that we started with at the start of the season to the team that we finished with at the end of the season were two completely different ones. And the journey from those two has been so nice to see, and just to see the friendships that the players have made on and off the pitch, and just see how well everyone's bonded. It has been so nice, and to find regular faces like you lot within the crowd, but also see the little friendships that form through like the staff and stuff, like rugby borough when they came to the city ground. May obviously knows a lot of the Forest staff, and just seeing the friendships still there but blossom even more. It's been so nice to see that a club is so welcoming and warm to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. There's a real community feel, isn't there? I remember against Derby, we were singing at Charlotte Steggles as well. Charlotte Steggles is a red, and she gave us a big grin from the from the bench, which is really nice to see. What about you, Aimee?
This was a hard question for me because I think, like I've said, the whole season has been incredible. Like, it has been I feel like it's been such a special season to be part of. Like, we've had our highs, we've had a few lows, like drawing to Wolves, etc. But for me, I think the most high point was having players represent us on an international level. That you don't often see that from a tier 3 side. Or like any like lowest. There's even some clubs tier 2, WSL2. They don't have loads of international players, and I think that was special. Knowing we've got these players who are representing Forest abroad, so from Northern Ireland, that's quite a high. It's quite a special feeling knowing our players are being like, it's a big honour for them to go represent our club overseas somewhere. Yeah, that's quite a high for me.
Yeah, do you know what? I love that. I love that shout. And I'd actually completely forgotten about that. And there must be surely some kind of record. Maybe Mr. Statsman can look it up. At the most amount of players representing their countries internationally in one season, I would imagine. I can't remember the last time we had that many singular people at the same time sort of representing.
Not at a senior level anyway.
No.
I know Luann played under 19s for England when she played for us.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've had senior internationals. And certainly not 4.
Yeah.
4? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 4, wasn't it? Also, another stat this year, you're probably aware, we might not be. It's the first time that we've had 2 FA Cup final goal scorers in the same squad as well. Can you name them?
Charlie.
Yes, there's
Kate.
one. And Kate, there we go. Yeah. So what was your highlight of the season, Ollie?
Yeah, Carly coming to the boot room. That was quite difficult to pull off. And because obviously there's celebrations with friends and family after the game, and you have things to do. And to get at the boot room to be with the fans was fantastic. You mentioned the rugby game, and I think this season that bond between her and the fans has started to develop. It was difficult last season when you replace a successful coach and you lose a lot of popular players, none of which is her fault. But I think when the chips were down, it wasn't the support wasn't there. I think this season it was, and that showed at the end of the season when she came in and she came into the promotion party. And there was one person sat next to you, Beck and I. She walked a marathon the day before, and I didn't think she could make it to Wembley, so she was there. And you'll see it in the video if you look very closely. You'll see the reaction was just wild, and that for me just made it really special. Because obviously we knew it was going to happen, but they didn't, and she certainly didn't. And the elation in her face was just fantastic, and that just makes all of that worthwhile.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a lovely touch. Just having that personal just been able to congratulate both her and Jay in person. I think that was really, really lovely, because it's such a small gesture, but it went a really long way. And I think everybody really appreciated that, didn't they? Right, let's go on quickly then to goal of the season. My shout, personally, would be for Nat Johnson's second screamer Nat Johnson's second screamer against Stoke in the opening day of the season. What would yours be, Abbie?
I've actually got written down Molly Green's against Sporting Cowser at the start of the season again. Obviously, soaring top bins. It was an astronomical strike. Like, we've had some good goals, but to me, nothing compares to that one.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout. I remember Murillo, who's in the men's first team, put a little comment and a like on social media for that one. So it really got the plaudits. What about you, Ollie?
Mel Johnson's goal in the League Cup final.
Oh, it's a great goal.
Love the way that Cara won possession and then allowed that move to start and then pegged it up into the box. Could have shot herself after Sophie laid it off to her, and then she took another touch to Mel, and that finish was brilliant. And again, Mel made that look really effortless, like you said earlier. it really wasn't. And it always boggles my mind when she doesn't go across the goalkeeper. She goes to the goalkeeper. She tries to find that really narrow angle. Yeah. And she pulled it off and was pretty much the winner. Yeah, no, it was. What a relief when that went in. Fantastic goal and a fantastic celebration as well with the old flying celebration. What about you then, Aimee? What was your favourite goal of the season?
Mine was also Molly Green's versus Sporting Clouser. She had the time. She could have just passed it to another player, but it's nice to see a player's got that confidence just to whack it in the top corner, basically. Yeah. And yeah, it was incredible.
I thought we would see a little bit more of that as well. There was quite a few free kicks, wasn't there, this season? There, you thought, she was going to hit top bins. Unfortunately, maybe she's saving them for next season. We'll see. But no, that was a fantastic goal. Okay, we'll just end this little section then on unsung hero of the season. Who would get your vote then, Aimee?
This was tough, but I've actually gone for Freya Thomas. I think last season she get Players Player last season, I think.
Yeah.
She got all 3 awards last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like this season I've not heard people talk about her as much as I did last season. And she's been amazing again throughout. She's done incredible. She's always a name I want to see in the 11. She's always in the 11. So yeah, she's definitely the player there for me because I think she's amazing at everything she does on and off the ball.
Yeah, totally. I absolutely agree with that. She's one of those players that just goes quietly unnoticed, isn't she? Although, as you say, her contribution is second to none, really. And I'd be quite interested to see her starting stats as well, Ollie, how many she actually started this season compared to everyone else. She must be up there pretty much, I would imagine. Not asking you to just have that off the top of your head. That'd be quite some feat, I think.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think I've got it in front of me though.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've got it in front of you, then
yeah, she started 27 games for us.
Okay.
I think Amy's right though. Like last season, she got all the plaudits, she got the awards, and obviously we got higher profile players.
Yeah. Who will get your shout then, Abbie?
I'm going to go with Nat Johnson. I feel like for Forest and internationally, she's just been so consistent. she can't do any wrong in my eyes. She's just, everything she does is so precise. She's very clinical on and off the ball. Again, she's another player that will take a step back and read the game and then judge from there rather than just rushing into her decisions. But I just think for me, without her, we'd struggle. Not necessarily on the ball, but more off the ball for me. Because watching from above, you can tell that she's thinking about every move. And I just think, again, it's the same for Northern Ireland. When I saw them play, she'd only got subbed on in like the 60th minute. It may have been a bit later, but the whole demeanour of the back line changed when she came on, because she's a natural leader as well. I think this is more prominent within Northern Ireland than it is in Forest, but she does lead, she guides, and everybody kind of just follows, which I do quite like, because again, she reads the game more than I think others do. So for me, it has to go to Nat.
Yeah, she was my shout, actually. I've got her on my pad here. I think another one, a bit like Freya, that people don't talk enough about. As you say, she's a stalwart in this team. Obviously, your likes of Charlie and Mel and Sophie and those kind of characters obviously get all the starlight and all the plaudits for scoring the goals and making the goals. But, as you say, Nat has made goals and scored goals herself. She's got absolute screamers this season. So, yeah, definitely underrated. What about you then, Ollie?
Holly Olding.
Good shout.
I think she was one of the later signings, wasn't she? I think.
Yeah.
Like later in the summer, and she stepped in late. She's just been relegated with Lewis, and they had a really uncertain summer. They shipped out like most of their playing squad. So, and it was a difficult start for her. It was, you and I both talked about, it was difficult at sometimes to see where she was getting involved in games. And the Burnley game that you talked about earlier, that was a bit of a turnaround for me. That pass she made to set up, to start that move that Sophie finished off. But I think at that point she was also winning her duels in the air and on the floor as well. It always stood out to us that for someone so tall, it was like backing out of headers and backing out of challenges, and then she sort of found her confidence to do that for us. And a game just came on week after week at that point. And I believe somebody on Facebook, I can't remember who it was, it might have been a relative, was on the Forest official Facebook page, was saying that she was used to playing more at the front, so more as a 10, or somewhere like more box to box, whereas she's had to get used to playing as a 6 in this team. And I think since that Burnley game, she had a number of exceptional performances. Starbridge was one, Feds Away was another. There's what I can't remember the other one I had in my mind, that she was just unplayable. And also earlier in the season against Stoke, she pocketed Millie Ravening, and she's probably the only person that did. She was scoring for fun against anybody, and she didn't get a sniff any of the times that we played her. Any of the times we played Stoke. We kept her quiet in 3 games, and nobody else did. And Holly had a big part to play in that. And I think she's just took a role as a mental health ambassador as well for the community trust, and that doesn't play a part in what I was saying, but it's just another thing that's really impressive about her. And I think she's going to grow into a big player for us, not just in her size and her height.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think she's one that's probably grown the most into the season. Wouldn't say she really, set the floor alight at the start of the season, but she's really grown into it. And yeah, Stourbridge, I thought she really dictated play, breaking up play and just kind of, pinging the ball everywhere. She was fantastic. And I remember the goal we scored, the Mel goal at home to Wolves, when she made that sort of lung busting run through midfield to put it into, I can't remember who played the ball for Mel to score. But yeah, she was really coming into her own. And Great to see. Really, really great to see. So yeah, definitely a good shout there. Okay, so we just want to end on the players that we feel we should be looking at, the potential players that we should be bringing in for the start of next season. I'm going to come to you all, and if you just want to have a little chat about a particular individual that you think would add to the team, we'll start with you, Abbie. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think obviously the dream would be someone like Rachel Williams or Rachel Daly. But I think looking realistically, London City Lionesses have just released Lucy Fitzgerald, and she's a striker. She's 24 years young. So she's a very versatile player that, again, we can nurture into our own. She's got a very good track record with London City. And obviously she's got the experience of being in a team that, again, has just been promoted to the WSL. Despite being so young, she's got that ticked off. She knows what is needed to be promoted, and I think she'd fit in perfectly in our team.
It's interesting you said about London City there. Obviously, as you say, they've got the caliber, they've got the experience now. They know all about the league, they know about being promoted. And I think as soon as they posted their release list, it's like Forest should be all over this, shouldn't they? All over it.
Because Michelle Kang, sorry to jump in.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Michelle Kang, she's got an eye for talent, and I think her investment rate is incredible within the women's game, and I think that is something that more clubs should aspire to be if they can. But I think Forest should be lapping up every opportunity they get to take in every opportunity that she's produced, so to say. Yeah. So I do think that is, we need to keep an eye on what Michelle Kang is producing and take what we can get, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a side note, I'm so excited to see who they bring in next season, London City. I mean, wow, the potential. It's going to be really, really exciting to watch, isn't it? I know they have real ambitions to kind of push Chelsea, so have a close eye on that one. What about you then, Aimee?
This was a tough one for me because I sat and thought about this, and I thought Birmingham City, they've released quite a few players, and so has London City. But I've actually gone for Connie Schofield. She was a big part of, well, not a big part, but she was a part of London City's first half of their season. She went on loan to Sheffield United. Sheffield United got relegated. She was still there week in, week out. She was a big part of the club during her time there. So I think she could be a move to us. She's played on an international level with the likes of Nat Johnson, Cara, who else? Casey. So I think she could be a shout. However, she's got the experience as well. She played in the WSL a little bit. She played in the Championship for a while. She's not one of the big names people would maybe like think to get. I think she could slot into our side quite well.
Yeah. Do you think just generally it's a younger squad that we're going to be looked to bringing in rather than experience?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a little bit mixed because I think Carly wants the experience. We saw that last season. She wanted some experience. And I think she'll want that again because having experienced players can really benefit the team. But then also there's so much young talent at the minute. Like, I think it's bigger than ever. The pathway is getting better. And I think we might have not a youngish squad, but we will have quite a few young players next season.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Ollie? Would you agree with that? And also, who would be your shout as a new recruit?
So I'm going to give you a really rubbish answer for this because I'm not very knowledgeable on Championship players. So I need to get up to speed. The first thing that I want is someone like Jordan Nobbs.
Yeah,
that's a really I know it's a bit of a cliche, but other than that, I think the pathway is there, and there's so many players. It's not like there's like 5 or 6 players you can pin your hopes on. If you don't get them, it's all a bit of a bust. There's loads of players, and there's one name that sprung to mind that I've completely forgotten. She signed for Crystal Palace last season from Man City. It's Poppy. Signed
for Palace from Man City, did you say?
Poppy Patterson.
Poppy Pritchard. Yeah. I watched her play with Luan. I only know she existed because I was watching the under-19s when Luan was playing with them.
Right.
And she was brilliant. And I think she'd fit perfectly into our midfield. We need a 10. We need attacking players. You know, we've got Casey, Charlie, and Mel. but we haven't. Other than that, we don't have a lot of attacking players anymore. The midfielders have got left to quite a more sort of deep lying. We do need midfielders that can contribute goals. I hope we see a squad that does have a lot of youth in it. I mean, you look at the league table, and we only need to win 5 games to stay up. Looking at recent seasons, it's not like we've got to win every game. So I want to see a squad that can stay together, especially with the resources we've got. There's no reason we can't make that happen. I don't want to be losing like 10 players every year. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah.
I want to see a squad grow, and I want to see a squad that's bought into this. And I think it's unlikely we'll see academy players brought through next season. So I do want to see experience, but I do want to see a squad that we can build around for a long time. I don't see any reason why we can't stay up next season.
Yeah. See, this is the question. Had we stuck with pretty much the spine of the team that we obviously got promotion with, I think they could have done a really good job of staying up with, a couple of additions here and there. But obviously the fact that we've got rid of pretty much all of them says that, we have bigger ambitions. We want to bring in bigger faces that are going to take us to that level, and even push potentially for promotion. Now, I think that is quite an ambitious ask, if I'm honest, because as we've talked about before, you need to recreate that vibe and that harmony. That's what gets you to win things, basically, is teams that want to play for each other, and they have that consistency on the pitch. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see who we bring in. For me personally, I would love to see someone. I mean, I've got a few names which, we have obviously spoken about Jordan Nobbs and Rachel Daly and these kind of players, which would be fantastic. But I still don't see them dropping down. I think they might be attracted by possibly a Brighton or even a London City. Who knows? Because they're not really, really old. I think they're like 32, 33 years old. I would love to see someone like Lucy Quinn, who plays for Birmingham City. Bags of experience. I think she's in her early 30s. The reason that I mentioned her is that I know she wasn't starting a lot for Birmingham this season. She was obviously coming back from, I think it was an ankle injury. International as well with Ireland. Obviously, we need to boost our striker ratio at the moment, so she would kind of fit into that. And I saw that Lexi Potter had been released from Crystal Palace. She was on loan from Chelsea. She captained the England and the 17s. She's box-to-box midfielder and only 18 as well, so very young. One for the future, so potential there. And just for pure nostalgic reasons, if we could sign a prime 2023-24 Luann Worsley and get the same output out of her, I would have her in a heartbeat. How she couldn't recreate that once she left Forest, I don't know, especially for her hometown club that she grew up supporting. For whatever reason, she couldn't recreate that. But she was magnificent in that season when we had her on loan. And obviously she's a free agent now. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if she went to a Burnley or possibly even a Wolves, who knows? But I'd like to see her, continuing to play at a higher level than that. So I would sign her. But yeah, really, really exciting. And I can't wait for the excitement of the silly season to start, of who we're gonna sign. I would imagine it would probably be in the next couple of months. Obviously the season starts September, I think, doesn't it? So you'd imagine, I don't know, maybe July, late June time. I'm not sure. Really.
Get it done early.
Oh, I'd love that. Really, really love that. Okay, I think that's a nice, positive place to end on. Abbie, just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you for joining us today. Is there anything while you're here that you want to plug, or anything that's coming up for you in the future that you want to mention?
Not really. I'm off to uni, so it might be a bit quieter over the next few months, but I'll still be back at Forest whenever I can. And obviously Blackburn, given that their whole situation improves, it will be my local game. So yeah, it won't be quiet on my end for too long, but just thank you for being so welcoming.
No worries. I hope to see you at a game soon.
Definitely.
And Aimee, same to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Anything you want to plug?
Same again. Not really. I don't think there's anything coming up really for me. Not until the season starts. I will hopefully be back doing all Forest games, as I'm still staying around here. But yeah, once again, thank you for everything you've both done for Forest this season, as well as us as well. Like Ollie, with all your stats you've given us to help us listening to these podcasts, because sometimes when I'm sat by the pitch photographing, I don't get to take in all the action because I'm constantly taking in my photos. But yeah, I can just thank you for everything you've both done for us.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Aimee. That's really, really sweet. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you at the games next season as well. And Ollie, my trusty sidekick, thanks again. Anything you want to mention before we close here? Put you on the spot, mate.
Not really. But the season's been great. It's been a really enjoyable season. Clearly much more than this previous one, but obviously we've had highs before that when we won the league and cup double before. But I think what's interesting to me is that this is not a community football club anymore. This is a professional operation. This isn't, as Carly said, a little bit facetiously, having a kick about with your mates.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season. For them, didn't know what that was aimed at. But this is a professional operation now. We don't have that. It's not a community asset. No, that's a rubbish word. It's not a community football club. But what has developed over the season, including with Aimee and Abbie, is it's been a really good fan culture this season. I think having it at the City ground has helped that. You know, there's a debate about whether having mostly empty stadiums is a good thing. I still will always choose to play at the City ground.
Yeah,
it's our home, and it's where people know we play. And what we've seen this season, even from moving from Eastwood and Long Eaton, where it's easy for people to be together, the fan culture has come on this season, and having people like Aimee and Abbie covering the team and telling that story as well, it's just been amazing. And you know, this team doesn't get the coverage we would say it deserves. And it's amazing that there's so many people talking about it now.
Yeah, mate, I absolutely echo that. I mean, the content, the pictures, everything that you guys have created this season has been wonderful. And you can see it by the players, you know, reposting it and liking it and everything. And yeah, let's just hope that the resources do get better as we, you know, go up the pyramid, because I know they are a little bit slack at the moment. So it's really nice that, you know, we get to see young content creators like yourself have been given the chance to go to the games and produce some wonderful content and really support this team. So good luck with all of that as well next season, guys. Okay, no worries. So we'll be back at some point over the summer with some more Fancast extras, and we'll be first to any new signings or any major updates that we have. Until then, take care, everybody, and you Reds.